A woman with reptiles at her breasts stares down in mute suffering from the walls of St. Mary's Parish Church in Witney, Oxfordshire. The weather-beaten fragment is all that remains of an extensive sculpture programme of the 1340s and is easily overlooked by visitors today. Yet for a medieval audience, it carried a vital message about sin and salvation. Most examples of this outlandish motif date to the 12th century and are concentrated along pilgrimage routes in northern France and Spain. They include a particularly eye-watering version where reptiles attack the woman's genitals as well as her breasts and have traditionally been interpreted as the punishment of lust, behaviour that was condemned by the Church and specifically associated with women who were understood to be sexually voracious. What then is this one doing 2 centuries later on an English parish church? A more nuanced interpretation of the image is that it referenced ideas about women's nature other than lust, particularly in cases where only the breasts are implicated, as at Witney. For a medieval audience, the breast was not primarily associated with eroticism, but with motherhood and the female virtue of compassion. As the antithesis of the virgin suckling Christ, the archetypal ideal of maternal compassion and infinite mercy, the unnatural image of a woman suckling snakes would have suggested the opposite, the sin of mercilessness or lack of compassion. The Witney sculpture is carved onto a pedestal. The statue it supported was in all likelihood the Virgin herself. The two figures together drawing on contemporary ideas about women to demonstrate the triumph of good over evil and emphasising the Virgin's mercy. The subject disappeared from the sculptor's repertoire by around 1200, but continued in the public imagination. In the 14th century, preachers were still telling tales of women condemned to suckle dragons and snakes for eternity, for refusing charity or neglecting their children. The visual tradition was revived at Witney. The sculpture adorned a charnel house, that is, a crypt to shelter the bones of the parish dead until Judgment Day, with a chantry chapel raised above it, where masses were said for their souls in the meantime. Between around 1250 and 1350, following the codification of the doctrine of purgatory, charnel houses were regularly incorporated into parish churches, acting as a powerful metaphor for purgatory itself. At Witney, the charnel house and its sculpture overlooked the pillory and the tumbrel, where lawbreakers were subjected to horrible punishments, a visceral mirroring of human and divine justice. The woman suckling snakes may be all that remains of this complex map of meaning, but her role is clear, drawing on gendered notions of sin and virtue to prompt viewers to penance and invoke the Virgin's mercy at the Last Judgment.